Installing Kohler wall pivot shower door. This animation is intended as a supplement. Please refer to the installation instructions provided with the product for important safety information, required tools, and detailed installation guidance. Warning: risk of serious injury. Damage before installation can result in glass shattering. Inspect the glass and all parts for damage before installation. Improper installation can result in glass shattering. Follow all installation instructions. Do not cut tempered glass. Tempered glass will shatter if cut. Always wear safety glasses and gloves while cutting and drilling to prevent injury. Caution: risk of personal injury. Wear protective gloves and long sleeves when installing the door. Tempered glass should not contact hard surfaces, or the glass may shatter. Do not touch the edge of the tempered glass panel with tools or any hard objects. Do not remove the corner protectors from the glass. Verify that the shower base is flat and level to prevent water damage. Cover the base of the shower or bath to avoid damage. Follow the instructions applying 100% silicone sealant for the shower door. Sealing areas other than those shown in the installation instructions may cause leaking. Tools required: safety glasses, measuring tape, pencil, level gauge, screwdriver, file tool, scissor, drill, 1/4 inch, 3/16 inch, 5/16 inch, 5/32 of an inch and 9/64 inch drill bits. 9/64 inch and 5/16 inch masonry bits for tile. Hex wrench, rubber mallet, tin snip, hacksaw, miter box, masking tape, silicone gun, protective gloves. Important: left pivot configuration is shown in the installation steps unless otherwise indicated. Determine whether the door will be installed in a left pivot or right pivot configuration. The pivot panel must be installed on the same side of the shower as the shower head. If this is not possible, contact the customer care center. Important: for proper door alignment and operation, confirm that the shower base or bath ledge and walls meet the following requirements. Do not install the door if these requirements are not met. Walls must be within 1/2 inch of plumb. There must be at least 1.5 inches of flat surface on the shower walls. There must be at least 1.5 inches of flat surface on the shower base ledge. Cover the drain with tape to prevent the loss of small parts. The shower base ledge must be flat and level between the walls. Use a drop cloth to protect the shower surface. Measure distance, A, between the shower walls and mark the distance on the threshold. Subtract 1/8 inch from A and make a second mark on the threshold as shown. Cut the threshold at the marked line and file any rough edges. If needed, file the ends of the threshold to fit against the shower walls. Use a coin to match and transfer the corner radius. Align the threshold 1/8 inch from the front of the shower base ledge along the entire length and mark the location. If the shower base ledge has a raised edge, align the threshold 1/4 inch from the back of the raised edge along the entire length and mark the location. Apply 100% silicone sealant into the grooves on the bottom of the threshold. Tape the threshold securely in place along the mark, centered between the walls. The fixed panel should be installed on the opposite side of the shower head. Important: the fixed panel wall jamb must fit tightly against the threshold and wall. Position the fixed panel wall jamb on top of the threshold against the wall. Plumb the fixed panel wall jamb. Tape the fixed panel wall jamb securely in place and mark the fixed panel wall jamb location. Verify that the threshold is still aligned with the previously marked location. Using a pencil, mark the anchor hole locations on the fixed panel wall jamb. Remove the fixed panel wall jamb and set aside. Using a 5/16 inch drill bit, drill a hole at each marked location. Use a masonry bit for tile walls. Install the provided wall anchors. If necessary, gently tap the anchors until the anchors are flush against the wall. Thoroughly clean the shower base and walls. Reposition the fixed panel wall jamb, aligning with the anchor holes. Verify that the fixed panel wall jamb is plumb. Secure the fixed panel wall jamb with 3 No. 8, 18 by 1½ inches screws. Using a 3/16 inch drill bit, drill 3 holes in the pivot panel wall jamb according to the dimensions shown. Position the pivot panel wall jamb on top of the threshold against the wall. Plumb the pivot panel wall jamb. Tape the pivot panel wall jamb securely in place and mark the pivot panel wall jamb location. Verify that the threshold is still aligned with the previously marked location. Using a pencil, mark the anchor hole locations on the pivot panel wall jamb. If a pencil cannot reach the wall, use a drill bit to mark the wall. Remove the pivot panel wall jamb and set aside. Using a 5/16 inch drill bit, drill a hole at each marked location. Use a masonry bit for tile walls. Install the provided wall anchors. If necessary, gently tap the anchors until the anchors are flush against the wall. Thoroughly clean the shower base and walls. Reposition the pivot panel wall jamb, aligning with the anchor holes. Verify that the pivot panel wall jamb is plumb. Secure the pivot panel wall jamb with 3 No. 8, 18 by 2½ inches screws. Position the wall jamb expander on top of the threshold against the fixed panel wall jamb. Plumb the wall jamb extender. Only the top or bottom of the wall jamb extender should be adjusted for plumb. Do not adjust the depth at both the top and bottom of the wall jamb extender. Tape the wall jamb extender securely in place against the fixed panel wall jamb. Using the wall jamb extender as a template, drill 3 5/30 seconds of an inch holes in the fixed panel wall jamb. Install the wall jamb extender with 3 number 10 16 by 3/8 inch screws. Do not over-tighten the screws. Measure the width of the fixed panel and mark the distance on the threshold seal. Subtract 1 3/16 inch from the previous mark and make a second mark on the threshold seal, as shown. Cut the threshold seal at the marked line. Apply 100% silicone sealant to the end of the threshold seal that will come into contact with the fixed panel wall jamb. Remove the bottom corner protector. Place the threshold seal on the bottom of the fixed panel. Verify that the seal is 3/8 inch away from the side going into the wall jamb expander. Apply a 1/4 inch bead of silicone sealant to the inside of the wall jamb expander. Remove the threshold tape. Insert the fixed panel into the wall jamb expander and threshold. Clean any excess 100% silicone sealant from the wall jamb expander and fixed panel. Apply a 1/4 inch bead of 100% silicone sealant to the groove of the strike jamb. Place the strike jamb over the edge of the fixed panel. Clean any excess silicone sealant from the strike jamb. Apply silicone sealant between the threshold seal and the strike jamb. From the inside of the shower, apply silicone sealant between the threshold seal and the threshold. Apply silicone sealant between the threshold seal and the wall jamb expander. From inside the shower, align the cleat with the strike jamb. Using the cleat as a template and a 9/64 inch drill bit, drill 2 holes in the threshold. Install the cleat to the threshold with 2 number 8 18 by 1/2 inch screws. Place the drill template on the threshold and align the drill template against the pivot panel wall jamb. Using the drill template and a 5/16 inch drill bit, drill a hole into the threshold. Remove the drill template. Install the bottom hinge bushing into the hole. Use a drop cloth to protect the shower surface. Measure distance B between the shower walls and mark the distance on the header. Subtract 1/16 inch from B and make a second mark on the header as shown. Cut the header at the marked line and file any rough edges. Place the header on the wall jambs. Center the header between the walls. From fixed panel side, measure 1/2 inch from the end of the header and mark the location on the groove of the header. On the strike jamb, measure 3/8 inch from the end of the strike jamb and mark the location on the groove of the header. From pivot panel side, measure 1/2 inch from the end of the header and mark the location on the groove of the header. Remove the header. Important: drill through inside of header only. Using a 5/30 seconds of an inch drill bit, drill 3 holes in the header at the marked locations. Verify that the set screws are installed with the top hinge mount in the correct orientation. Using a 1/8 inch hex wrench, install the 2 set screws into the top hinge mount. Insert the top hinge mount into the pivot panel side of the header. Insert the stabilizing block into the fixed panel side of the header. Align the stabilizing block so that the stabilizing block will be centered over the fixed panel. Apply 100% silicone sealant to the stabilizing block on the fixed panel side. With the header in the proper orientation and the groove facing the inside of the shower, place the header on the jambs. Using the header as a template, drill a hole in each of the jambs. Secure the header with 3 number 10, 16 by 3/8 inch screws. Measure distance C between the hinge bushing and mark the distance on the pivot panel. Place the pivot panel on the packaging, a table, or other safe surface to protect the glass. Install the 1/4 inch, 20 by 1 inch bolt into the bottom channel. Secure the bolt with a nut. Install the 1/4 inch, 20 by 1¼ inches bolt into the top channel. Secure the bolt with a nut. Using the provided wrench, tighten the 2 bolts. Align the inside edge seal with the inside edge of the pivot panel. Mark the edge seal at the top of the pivot panel. Cut the excess edge seal. Verify that the edge seal will be applied in the correct orientation. Peel the backing from the edge seal. Press the inside edge seal onto the inside edge of the pivot panel. Repeat these steps to install the outside edge seal on the outside edge of the pivot panel. Locate the hole in the bottom of the pivot panel. Install the handle plug into the pivot panel. Push the handle plug until the flange is flat against the end of the handle. Insert the bottom seal into the bottom of the pivot panel. Cut the excess bottom seal. From outside the shower, carefully set the bottom bolt in the bushing. Rotate the top of the pivot panel into the header and align the top bolt with the top hinge mount. Slide the top hinge mount inside the header as the pivot panel is positioned upright. Verify that the door is plumb. With the pivot panel open, tighten the 2 set screws in the top hinge mount. Close the pivot panel. Verify that the door magnet aligns with the magnet on the strike jamb. Loosen the pivot bolts and adjust the door as needed. Tighten the 2 bolts. Attach the strike jamb seal to the strike jamb. Apply 100% silicone sealant to the exterior edges of the wall jambs and threshold. Apply 100% silicone sealant to the seam where the overlap jamb meets the threshold and the wall. Apply 100% silicone sealant to the interior edges of the wall jambs. Do not apply the sealant along the inside edge of the threshold on the fixed panel side.